Hello everyone, welcome to Master's Teach, and today we'll discuss about the Telangana Social Studies, in which food security and sustainable development, and this is very important topic for your examination point of view. This content is taken from the 10th class, okay, social studies. So we'll discuss food security, sustainable development, equity, and key links. In food security, we are going to discuss like what is food security. It is assured access to sufficient safe and nutritious food. It is sustainable development, meeting present needs without harming future generations. Then equity, fair distribution of resources and opportunities. Then key links like food security support social system and social justice and long-term development. We'll go to the next slide. If you are newly watching my channel, please do subscribe and share with your friends. So what is food security meaning? Food security means all the people at all the time have the access of sufficient, safe, nutritious food for the active and healthy life. It is not only for the food availability, but also they should have the quality, quantity in regular access. Availability means everybody should have enough food that should be produced and or imported. It must be meet the people's need. Okay, I'll show the with the laser point accessibility. So people must able to reach food, and food should be physically available to all, and it should be available. Food should be within people's buying power. Even poor families should afford it. So food security means it should be availability, it should be accessibility, it should be affordability. These are the food security meaning. Okay. So components of food security. Okay. So the food security means availability, accessibility, affordability of safe, sufficient and nutrition food for all. Availability means enough food enough food should be supplied to all. The food should be whether the food grain should be domestic production or imports. Government should have buffer stock and accessibility, physical reach to food, and income should have the people so that they can purchase. Okay, and they're able to have the access to purchase the food. There is the accessibility of market. Then affordability, the price should be fair and stable price, and that food grain should be given at subsidized for the poor people, protect from price inflation. So these are the components of food security. Many of the times they may ask in MCQs what are the components of food security: availability, accessibility, and affordability. Okay, so what is the nutritional status in India? So India is a major food producer, but at malnutritious remain very serious issue. The most affected people are group children below 5 years and pregnant women. So most affected groups for the nutritional thing, children under 5 years and pregnant and lacting women, then rural and tribal population, poor families. These are the most affected groups in India. Then main nutrition problem. One is like people are underweight, have the low body, then low body weight for age, then stunting. So that means low height for age, then anemia, iron deficiency. In common, it is common in women and girls. Then wasting, that means low weight for height. So these are the nutrition problem: underweight, stunting, anemia, wasting. These are the main nutrition problems. Okay, then the key facts. So India has a huge population, almost 1.4 billion population we have. There's a pressure to supply the food and distribution. Then main causes of hunger, poverty is the biggest cause of hunger and food insecurity in India. Children stunted, nearly 28% percentage of the children under 5 years suffering from stunting. So here there is a regional inequality in high in nutrition. Then states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand have higher malnutritious, whereas Kerala and Punjab perform better. Poverty remains root cause of hunger. So these are facts you have to remember. If you want to, you can take the screenshot of this one. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. Yeah, causes of food insecurity. So, food security in India caused by socio-economic factors. These are the important for the examination point of view. Poverty. So, low income. So, they don't have access to have good food or adequate food. Unemployment. So, India has huge unemployment. So, there is no stable income, which leads to irregular food access. Then, natural disasters like droughts, floods, cyclones damage the crops and disturb supply chain. Then low agriculture productivity, outdated methods of cultivating. Then poor seeds and lack of irrigation, which leads to reduce the yield. So causes of food insecurity, one is poverty, unemployment, natural disasters, low agriculture productivity. If you are newly watching my channel, please do subscribe and share with your friends. Then buffer stock. This is also a key point for the examination point of view. What is buffer stock? So, buffer stock is the reserve of food grains kept by the government. Some stock is kept for the future purpose for the unforeseen things like war, drought-like situation. They keep some of the food grains in a stock as a stock by the government, that is called as buffer stock. Many times they may ask in the examination. So in buffer stock, which grains they store? Wheat and rice. Then during the shortage or price rise or emergency, this buffer stock will be released to the people. So who manage this buffer stock? So FCI, that is the Food Corporation of India. So this procures, stores and distributes the grain. So grain is brought from the farmers at the minimum support price. So minimum support means at least the farmers can sell their product what they invested. That is called minimum support price. Okay. Then why it is important? Ensure that food supply during the droughts and floods, helps stabilize prices, support welfare schemes like PDS, public distribution system, act as a safety in calamities. So focus on what is FCI, okay, which procures and storage. What is MSP? Minimum support price, okay, it is paid to the farmers. Buffer stock means emergency reserves. You have to remember these key points. It's very important. Okay. Then, if you like my channel, please do subscribe and share with your friends. I have taken this particular PPT from the TGSCRT PDFs, okay, and it is very essential those who are preparing for the DSC or Gurukula or TET, okay. It is excellent content with a nice presentation, okay. Public distribution system. So as everybody knows, it's called as ration shops. PDS, so government food security program that supplies the food subsidized food grains to the poor people through the fair price shops, okay, or ration shop. Fair price shops also called as ration shops, either way. So what they does through PDS, they distribute rice, wheat at a subsidized price. For Telangana, it is supplies at free of cost, and sugar also is supplied to the below market price. Kerosene is provided for cooking and lighting needs. Okay, however, the kerosene is stopped nowadays. Phrase price shops. Okay, it is for the last mile delivery points. Okay, then more than 5 lakhs fair price shops operates across India. Okay, so if you watch this particular video again and again, you will get the clarity. Okay, so types of ration card. So everybody has the ration cards. Those who are living below poverty line, ration card decide the who subsidize food grains and from the price shops. Okay, they are issued as per the economic status of the citizens. So one is Antyodaya Anna Yojana, that is AAY. It is the poorest of the poor people for the destitute and laborless, landless laborers. So 35 kgs grain per month will be given at the lower price or at free of cost. Okay, Antyodaya Anna Yojana AAY. Then one more card BPL, below poverty line. It is for the household below the poverty line. So they get the food grains at subsidized price. Then APL is the uh, people above poverty line. For the households above the poverty line, food grains at slightly subsidized. So they'll get the near market prices. So these are the types of ration cards. Okay. Antyodaya Anna Yojana, B- BPL and APL. This is about the types of ration cards. Then functions of PDS. So public distribution system is a key part of India's food security system. It ensures that affordable food grain for the eligible families. So it ensures that food security. Yes, functions of food food distribution like PDS. Okay, public distribution system. What are the functions? Let us see. See, public distribution system is a key part of India's food security system. So it ensures that food grains available for the eligible families. So it ensures that food security for all the poor people. Then it controls the price. It acts as a uh, buffer stock during the market price increases. Then support for the poor families, BPL or AAY families. Okay, Antyodaya families that we have given here. AAY means uh, Antyodaya Anna Yojana families. Okay, they support to the below poverty line Antyodaya Anna Yojana families. Okay, uh, yes, Anna Yojana families and promotes nutrition. Okay, so it helps the hunger and improves the basic nutrition. These are the functions of public distribution system. So problems of some of the problems are there or drawbacks. Okay, in PDS. Okay, these issues can be reduced through efficiency and affect fair delivery prices, leakage, corruption. So sometimes the grain is diversion from the system, then black market sale happens by the corrupt dealers and causes heavy loss to the government. So now fake ration cards. So there is a ghost beneficial using fake ration cards. So grain meant for the poor people, it is misused and waste the public funds. Then exclusion of deserving poor. So genuine poor families are left out. So because genuine people they don't have proper document issues, errors, negligence, then creates inequality in access. Then poor quality grains. So grains that are many of the times it is spoiled or often stale or damaged. Sometimes pest infected grain is supplied. So it's reduced the acceptance of this particular scheme. So PDS, public distribution system, the problems are leakages and corruption, fake ration cards, exclusion for deserving poor, then poor quality grains. So, what is the reforms in the PDS? So, some of the reforms reduce the corruption and all those stuff so that there can be a transparent and efficient accountability. So, one is digitalization. So, ration cards are digitalized. So, removes the duplicate and improves the record keeping. Then, Aadhaar linking. So, Aadhaar authentication is there, then it prevents the ghost beneficiaries. Then transparency measures, so online tracking of the grain movement and ensure that real-time monitoring system and accountability. Then some of the states offering door delivery system. So rations are delivered directly to the households. So which reduce the middleman and beneficiary burden. So these are the things reforms in PDS. So sometimes they may ask in the examination, you have to thorough with this. Then examination point of view, some of the schemes are very important. So food security and malnutrition. Okay, so uh, the government launched major schemes for tackle food security and malnutrition and child welfare. So these are important for the TET examination. One is midday meal scheme. So free cooked meals at the government schools, okay, in the midday. So it improves the enrollment of the students as well as it's reduce the hunger, then helps the reduce classroom malnutrition. Then it covers more than 10 crores children. Then ICDS. What is the ICDS? It is the Integrated Child Development Services. It is for the below 6 years children and pregnant and lacting mothers. So it provides the nutrition and health checkups and immunization. So it includes the preschool education implementation through Anganwadi Center, ICDS, Integrated Child Development Services. Then National Food Security Act 2013, NFSA, National Food Security Act 2013, which gives the legal entitlement to the subsidized food. It covers up to the 75% of the people in rural area and 50% population in urban area. It provides 5 kg grain per person per month. Okay, national it the food supply to highly subsidized price through National Food Securities Act. You have to remember what is NBSA. It is the National Food Security Act 2013. What is ICDS? It is the Integrated Child Development Schemes for the Anganwadi, which is done through Anganwadi, and midday meal scheme for the school goers. Okay. Then sustainable development. And what is the sustainable development means? Sustainable development means development that meets the present needs of the people and uh, then of the present generation without harming the ability of the future generation. So you have to use the resources what you want now, and you have to keep the some of the resources for the future generation. That is called sustainable development. So the it bases on the balance three core dimensions. One is economic growth, environmental protection, social security. Economic growth means income and employment and better living standard. Environmental protection, so that is protecting ecosystem, conserve biodiversity and resources. Then social equity, fair distribution of benefits, then inclusion, development of all. This is a sustainable development. Okay, the core definition everybody has to remember. It is many times asked what is the sustainable development. Development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. Okay, if you want to take the you can screenshot, which is this definition is given by the uh, Brundtland Commission report. Uh, our common future in 1987 it's given. So the source is World Commission on Environmental Development. Okay, World WCED, World Commission on Environment Development. So meaning is development should be balanced economic growth and environmental protection. Key ideas: present needs to be meet without harming for the future generation. So you have to learn the definition for the examination point of view. Then futures of sustainable development. Okay, you can see here there is solar panels are there, then wind panels are there. So how you have to use the resources? Okay, resource conservation, efficient use of water, mineral, forest, and other resources. Then environmental protection. You have to control pollution, reduce the emissions and protect ecosystem. Then long-term planning. So decision should be support both current and future generation. Then you have to use the renewable resources, use the solar, wind, and other clean energy source instead of fossil fuel. So these are the features of sustainable development. Okay, so what is the environmental issues in India? So India is going very fast and rapid economic growth is there. So there is a pressure on environment. Okay, so what happens? These issues, deforestation. So large scale of the forest is cut down for the agriculture as well as industry and the urban purpose also there is happening. Water scarcity. So the water is like there is a scarcity of water, groundwater as well as river pollution is happening. So uneven distribution of water for the affects millions. Then pollution. There is a full problem for the environment through like air, water, and soil pollution, industries, vehicles, as well as uh, through agriculture also harming our ecosystem. Overall, uh, overuse of natural resources. So excess mining, groundwater extraction, and unsustainable farming disputes depletes the natural resources. Okay, these are the thing. Okay, uh, then sustainable development by equity. So equity means fair sharing of the development benefits among all the sections of the society, especially marginalized and economically weaker weaker groups. So key point, fair distribution of natural resources. So special focus on SC, ST, women and rural people, removal of structural barriers, access to education, health, and livelihood. So inclusive growth. Growth should be benefit every Indian. So without not only urban but all rich, but also it includes to the everyone. So government needs to support with effective plan and public service for the public service reach to the last mile. Okay, this is the thing. If you are really like this content, please do subscribe and share with your friends. So importance of equity in development. So equity is essential for the inclusive development. So a country cannot truly develop if large section of the people remains deprived even when the GDP increases. So reduce inequality. So there should be a narrow gap between rich and poor. Then prevent concentration only on the wealthy people. So ensure that social justice, everybody should get the fair share of the resource for all. So focus on caste, gender, religion, and region, so equally. Then equal opportunities. So quality education for all the children. So access to healthcare and basic service. Then strengthen the democracy, create the stable and participatory society, support long-term development. So what we have learned, so we learned about the food security through which better health and increased productivity overall development is there. Okay, so this is a like sustainable developments, natural resource you have to use responsibly, you have to use converse uh, conservation and renewable energy we have to use, and you have to even future generation also use the resources. That is the thing. So what you have to know about FCI, PDS system, MSP, NFSA, okay, buffer stack, Brutland definition, all those stuff. Go through this, okay, and if you have any inquiry, you can comment. Then we'll discuss about the same thing. Go through this video again and again. That will be helpful to you. All the best for coming examination. Okay, it is also this content is useful for TET, DSC, and Gurukula and various competitive exams. Okay, do concentrate. All the best for your coming examination.